On today's Toy Spot, we'll be having a look at the DC Direct Batman Arkham City Series 2 Catwoman. I think a safe bet for me, at least, of all the figures released through Series 2, the one I really wanted the most, and it also appears the one that most fans want the most here, is Catwoman. Catwoman is now sporting her much sleeker, modern version of her costume. It also looks like to me that she comes with a whip of some sort, a bolo whip. Also, if you were wondering, how much did Spot pay for this figure and all the other Arkham City figures? Right there, $24.99. Now, I picked this up at a local comic book store of mine. So because it is a comic book store, and usually these are specialty market figures, they do tend to be a little more expensive than simple retail releases. On the back of the package, other figures that you can get from Series 2. We have the Riddler, Catwoman, Batman in detective mode. We have Hush and Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter. As always, the read-up down below says Batman Arkham City introduces Arkham City, the new maximum security home for all of Gotham City's thugs, gangsters, and insane criminal masterminds. This heavily fortified, sprawling district in the heart of Gotham City becomes the ultimate battleground between the Dark Knight and his greatest adversaries. As he entangles a web of intrigue that threatens to tear the city apart, Batman's supporting cast is transformed by this new locale into a stronger, more dangerous set of enemies and allies as they push him to the limit and beyond. Once again, no read-up, unfortunately, on the characters themselves, but it's all right, though. Yeah, it's not too bad. But that would be packaging on Catwoman. I'm going to take myself a bit of a break to get this opened up, and when we reconvene, we're going to have a better look at Catwoman. Stay tuned, guys. There's definitely more on the way. Once you have Catwoman out of the package, you can certainly appreciate what a gorgeous, gorgeous figure this is. It is beautifully sculpted. There's not really a lot of paint to be said for the actual figure, but where there is paint, it's definitely a very nice figure. We zoom into the face of Catwoman, and all things considered, it's not a bad looking face. It seems like it could be just a slight bit rounded. Is that the word I want to use? Her face seems a little too rounded, but still a really solid figure. Sculpt in other areas as well are quite nice. I was talking about her collar here. I don't know what you guys were talking about. She is sporting her goggles up top here. They aren't removable. You can't remove them or anything like that. It would have been nice if they had been a separate piece that you could have actually brought down over the eyes, but it's not too bad. Because, I mean, still, it's a nice looking face on Catwoman that I don't necessarily need these to be movable. Now, I don't know how well the camera is picking this up, but I gotta say, the lighting makes the face look a little paler than what she is in person. In person, she's actually got a very warm, peach-colored flesh tone to her. More darker in the chest area, but she's really got some nice blush. Spot knows so little about makeup. She's got some eyeshadow going on there, some dark red lipstick. She's really rocking it out, as they say. And we zoom back from her face here. And we kind of pan across the overall body and sculpt of the costume of Catwoman. And it definitely is a very nice, I want to say, updated interpretation of the costume. It's very, it's almost a cross between something you would see in Hellraiser, I know that's a really bad comparison, and something you would see in Tron, obviously without the lights. But it's this really skin-tight bodysuit. You can see that it's made up of different sections, different pieces, multiple layers going on there as well. You can even see, zooming into the side here, that she's almost got this kind of corset style piece to her costume. And let's not, of course, forget the fact that aside from a really good sculpt, the paint is really good as well. It's not just a black, but they put in a couple layers of different colored grays. The light, I think, is doing a fantastic job of showing some of those details. A nice silver has been added to the zipper of that outfit. As we pan further down and move further down on the figure, the detailing on the boots is done really, really nice as well. The lacing on the boots is done nice. I know the figure would not be really able to stand, but it would have been nice if they had actually hollowed out that boot. Made it a little more like a heel. Oh, speaking of feet, I know Spot's probably going to forget about this. None of these figures appear to have display stands, which is fine, because Catwoman does not have any holes in the bottom of her feet anyways. But a display stand would have been a nice addition. I'm really surprised that DC Direct has just omitted the display stands altogether in this line. Or at least so far from what I've seen, there appears to be no display stands whatsoever. Of the accessories, though, she does come with this. I don't know if that's just a bolo whip. I don't know what the actual term is. I can tell you, though, what's nice about it is it's a flexible rubber-like material. So there is actually some give to it, which I really like as well. Catwoman's two hands, it seems more obvious that you can put it in this hand, as it's more of a closed fist. This hand right here, is actually more of a claw, like she's about to scratch perhaps Batman, perhaps somebody that's gotten in her way. I think ever since handling the Harley Quinn, I'm very, very careful when it comes to these hands. If you remember my Harley Quinn, oh, my poor Harley Quinn, the hand broke right off. Which is something I'm a little worried about when it comes to these shoulders. These shoulders seem to be on a pin and socket, but they do feel flimsy. Like if I'm not careful, I don't even really want to say it. If I rotate these the wrong way or too quickly, I'm worried this is going to come right out. The shoulders look like the arms do move out slightly, but again, I don't know if how much I want to mess with it. I might just leave it alone. In the way of her articulation as a whole, Catwoman does have a ball-jointed head. It doesn't really move up too much, but mostly just moves down left and right. As I mentioned, the shoulders appear that they can come out, but I would advise some caution, just some slight caution, my friends. The elbows do bend at a hinge. There's a rotation in the glove. As we pan further down on the figure, there is no swivel or anything in the waist, probably due to the fact that this really nice sculpt would be broken up. But she does have a swivel in the legs. Legs can move back and forth. There is a bend at the knee, and there is also a swivel in the boot. That's really it. Which is not really a bad thing. I'm not going to find fault with it, because really at the end of the day, I would not sacrifice a really good sculpt in a figure like this for additional articulation. If you want more articulation, what Spot could certainly recommend to you is I would probably look to get the Arkham Asylum Batman Legacy Catwoman, or Batman Arkham City Batman Legacy Catwoman that came packaged with the Batman. And you can essentially get this kind of Catwoman, but certainly with more articulation. She does also have, by the way, a whip that is glued to her leg. It doesn't look like it comes off. If you wanted to, you could probably take it off and she could hold it, but it's fine for me to have it just there. I'm not inclined to want to move it at all. Overall, the figure is really nice. I'm very impressed, and I'm very glad that I was able at least to find her. It was really a score for me that I was able to find the rest of them as well. Sculpt on the face, I think, could have been a slight bit better. Just a slight bit. But overall, I think I'm very impressed with this figure. The Arkham City Catwoman from DC Direct, I'm going to give her an 8. Let me know down below your thoughts on this figure, and perhaps what you would rate it. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the DC Direct Batman Arkham City Catwoman. A great figure, well worth picking up. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time.